Breaking news coming from the camp of a Chelsea Football Club. In the last 30 to 35 minutes, Fabrizio Romano Edia Tudja said Chelsea for D. Jordan Henderson the chick giddy to sign the veteran player as a free agent. Ne ball for a Brentford Football Club last season. Odan Edino Eban Ewie. So now Jordan Henderson is a free agent, but Chelsea want to go for Air Jordan Henderson. Good deal or bad deal? We are on side with me, Air Joshua Hollow too. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications. Anytime I drop a video, Biano, you'll be one of the first people to receive it. And thank you so much for choosing to be here to watch the updates from Air the transfer market in the last 45 minutes. In fact, let me take it back to about 3 hours ago. Ebabontin said Danny Welbeck, Danny Nitaki Welbeck, player Usinakan Emma Brighton and Hove Albion, Chelsea for Edinechi, to get his signature to come and play for Chelsea. Of course, the player is 35 years old, Premier League proven player, veteran. Of course, a 35-year-old player, you can consider him as a veteran. But why would Chelsea want to go in for Danny Welbeck? That is the big question. I will be a person or G answer no. A free Xabi Alonso, because Xabi Alonso, you suddenly became a coach who wanted experienced hands. It's not already no person or cover John Stones as a very experienced midfield, a very experienced defender. Waboni Boy for Manchester City is a free agent, and even talks are still undergoing for that particular deal. But all of a sudden, Danny Welbeck, Jordan Henderson, what is going on at Chelsea Football Club? Maybe something natural, and we'll explore and understand why Danny Welbeck and the brand friend Jordan Henderson are players that are being considered to join the Chelsea fray by Xabi Alonso. Why is Xabi Alonso interested in these two key players who are over 30 years old, and what does he intend to achieve with them? We'll look at it very soon and we'll do the analysis. This is On Side with me, Joshua Hollow too. Thank you so much for joining, and we are going into the news straight away. Just about 3 hours ago, and it was broadcast, right, that Danny Welbeck, the veteran Danny Welbeck, is being considered to join Chelsea. Now, story came from two different sources. So I'll start from David Ornstein. Also, Chelsea is exploring a move to sign Danny Welbeck from Brighton and Hove Albion. Terms that's to end 2027. And Inti Enfan says it's going to be more or less a 1-year contract. Then he says that Brighton and Hove Albion are aware of the interest. Into Omadia to me say, of course, such an interest has come from Chelsea. Now, the next thing is that these are early stages, but there's optimism on all sides that the deal can be done. Now, he speaks of quality and leadership that appeals to Alonso. And that is coming in from Kieran Gill through David Ornstein. Now, the same thing was broadcast by Fabrizio Romano, and he literally says the same thing as it was broadcast by Kieran Gill. He says Chelsea are considering a move for Danny Welbeck to add experience up front for the upcoming season. Initial approach made to understand deal and conditions. The discussions are ongoing for a player, a friend or Danny Welbeck. Now, let's do the analysis, because Danny Welbeck now, he's 35 years of age. Now, if Chelsea want to bring him in for just 1 year, it means by the time he's leaving, he would have been 36 years old. What I'm thinking is that Chelsea want to bring in Danny Welbeck to serve as number one, experience in the team. When you look at the forward line for Chelsea, currently we don't have so much of experience over there. What we are seeing currently are players who are relatively young, who are trying to find their feet over there. To be player bit Liam Delapa, or by just last season after he played for Ipswich Town 2 seasons ago. So Liam Delap coming into the Chelsea setup, you can see how he struggled last season. He struggled to play. He struggled to fit in. In fact, there are so many occasions, ball or boy, you were wondering whether or not that guy was even a football player. Because he be a golf player or call that down Crawford a football player or Boma Ipswich. Because he was not playing like a football player. That's number one. João Pedro, number two. When João Pedro came to Chelsea, he came and he literally demonstrated that this was what he was made up of. But there are times when you look at João Pedro very well and you know that that would have been very good. And in fact, in Prempin, and this was in the past when I didn't even start making videos. I used to say that if João Pedro got players like Diego Costa to learn from, that boy would be a beast within 6 months. If you got players like Didier Drogba to learn from, that guy would be a beast in 1 year. And I would have really wished that Abrana, Bianca, those players were around, would have gotten the Joao Pedro into the setup. He would have learnt that box dominance that players like Didier Drogba will give you, and also Diego Costa will give you. Because you saw Diego Costa in that 2014-2015 season for Chelsea, right? Scoring goals for fun, bullying defenders. He will shrug you off the ball. He had that kind of Erling Haaland spirit. Erling Haaland was fearless when he was in the box. He would push you over. He would literally show his dominance and his style and what he was made up of in the box. And at this point, no, Danny Welbeck even last season was into double figures in terms of goals and assists. It's the kind of player with Myanmar experience to head Chelsea forward line at this moment now. It is Danny Welbeck. And I think that is why Xabi Alonso wants to bring him in. Another reason why I think Xabi Alonso wants to bring him in is the leadership bit. Let's lead the team on the pitch. Because Chelsea has a very youthful squad still. Even though we have gone in for experience at this point, it looks like Chelsea for players are kakra the bad team. Don't forget that Chelsea is still made up of many young players who are still there right now. And when it comes to being on the pitch and making certain decisions, you will need the experience to be able to speak to these young ones, calm them down, calm the nerves down, get them to be very coordinated in their play. Hey, Bonnie free hair, hey, Gina say, Bossy say, mommy. You know, and Danny Welbeck will be able to give that sort of authority on the pitch, help the players to settle down, give them some form of leadership qualities. And I think that's a very good thing. Number 3, I honestly think that another reason why Xabi Alonso and Chelsea want to bring in a player like Danny Welbeck into the team and say it could be a very good plan B for Xabi Alonso. When the going gets tough and you need a striker who can come off the bench, look at what is going on in the pitch, and get the ball and be able to turn in such a way so it is in Danny Welbeck, you get that from him. What the last season team goes or team share? There was one particular goal he scored against Manchester United. He on the weaker foot, the left foot, right at the edge of the box. Even against Chelsea or Stamford Bridge or Share. He's a very confident player who, of course, does not naturally play like a 35-year-old. There's age on his side. But Ocean the ball now, the experience is there. The IQ is there. The football IQ is there. His ability to remain composed. And the fact that you can bring him from the bench with 5 minutes, 10 minutes remaining, and you can get him to exert his authority in the box and get the most out of it. So I'm not surprised that these are directions that Xabi Alonso wants to take, because in a team that is full up of young people, you will need the influence of players like Danny Welbeck. So if it's just a 1-year deal and he's going to play a specific role to mentor Joao Pedro, the likes of Joao Pedro, the likes of Liam Delap, Magiu, Emmanuel Gamuninano, I think it's a good thing. He gives them the experience, he gives them the motivation, he's able to impart something into them, right? Before his time at Chelsea is done, so that by the time he is gone, now Joao Pedro and co are very confident and they can step in there and replicate what he has done, that Danny Welbeck has done in the previous season. I think it could be a very good direction for Chelsea Football Club, no? And then let's see how that goes, because Danny Welbeck, signing, no? I think it's a very, very good sign that Chelsea could do, and it could increase their fortunes of winning domestic titles in the coming season. Now, Jordan Henderson, it's here for Jordan Henderson. I think that was quite a surprise, because Jordan Henderson, he was called by Thomas Tuchel for a FIFA World Cup now, boy, with me and match because along the line he broke his arm. But the point is that he broke his wrist, sorry. But the point is that that's Fabrizio Romano just about 1 hour ago. Chelsea lead the race to sign Jordan Henderson as new midfielder. Another surprise for Chelsea Football Club. Henderson can leave Brentford on a free transfer, and Chelsea are ahead in race with 2 more clubs for English international. The former Liverpool midfielder is open to the move. Now, another player who comes in with a wealth of experience, Ocean ball the 1 year even for Air Jordan. Born a home for team Air Brentford in the English Premier League. When he was there was one thing that was very clear. The leadership on the pitch was so expressive, and he managed to help his team to be able to get some certain key results. About Brentford 4 in the last season that they played, coming from behind in certain games to win their games. I thought that his influence was well exerted in that team. But is he a right fit for Chelsea? Is he a right fit for Chelsea? I don't want to believe said these players are coming in to come and be starters. That is not going to be the idea. But the presence of these players in the team helps the team to maintain that balance that it needs. It, of course, I've already said it. Chelsea is still made up of very young players. But these young players, they need the older ones around to be able to guide them, to be able to inspire them, to be able to educate them on how to play the game and the kind of procedures that they need to execute on the pitch. That is why Chelsea really wanted to go for Granit Xhaka. Aside the fact that Granit Xhaka had played under Xabi Alonso before, no, one thing Granit Xhaka will give you is the leadership and the dominance of the leadership qualities on the pitch. And that is one thing that Chelsea really need, because when you look at Xabi Alonso, he's a kind of coach who sometimes wishes say, "Obey me free touchline, no problem, bomb match maybe," because he is getting the team to do their workout. He's getting the team in their training sessions. He's showing them exactly what to do. So he really wants other players who are as young, who are as old as he may be, to step onto the pitch and help the players to do the right thing. So I'm not shocked that Xabi Alonso really wants to target these old guards. Of course, Omanini. And in terms of their playing time, they will not get so much playing time. But once you call on them in the difficult times and you show them what to do on the pitch, they can go there and do it, and they can help the young players to settle down. So just look at Jordan Henderson. I know Jordan Henderson may not be that kind of player who even fits in the Chelsea frame, because a player will bought Liverpool da. Right? If you wanted a player who would come to Chelsea, normally Liverpool material, of course, both teams have done business in the past, but typically Liverpool material coming to Chelsea is quite tricky. Yossi Benayoun, Sobobe Kaya, 2010, when Yossi Benayoun came to Chelsea, he didn't really find his feet. He came from Liverpool. Fernando Torres, when Fernando Torres came from Liverpool to Chelsea, he didn't find his feet. When you even look at Rafa Benitez, he won the Europa League with Chelsea, I understand, but he didn't do so without scuffles with players like John Terry. Because when he came to Chelsea, he wanted to come and impose his Liverpool kind of style, and John Terry pointed out to him, said, "Master, you cannot bring that thing over here." It's Liverpool former players and current players moving to Chelsea has always been tricky. And I know Jordan Henderson is not a fresh player, will be already 25, 26, 27, who is coming to Chelsea. But Liverpool that were Jai, of course, he has gone on to play other teams. He has played for Brentford, to say a free agent. He's coming to Chelsea if he's able to move and the deal materializes. Right? But the issue is that Xabi Alonso is also a former Liverpool player who is now a coach at Chelsea. So at this point, anything is possible, because it's about the end goal, it's about the strategy, it's about the vision that Xabi Alonso has that he wants to implement in a Chelsea setup. And I think at this point, he may not decide that Jordan Henderson is that go-to player in terms of starting in the starting 11 and influencing games. But when he needs him to be able to do certain things, take certain decisions, help the young players to be able to withstand the pressure, he can get it from Jordan Henderson. Right? So what do you think about it? What do you think about the deal? Is there any perspective or offer a side deal away from? Let me know in the comments. Just drop it in the comments. This has been Onside with me, Joshua Holo2, and we will talk more about other Chelsea transfers. I think the other thing that Chelsea is trying to do is that it looks like Pedro Neto, even if he has to leave Chelsea Football Club, Chelsea want to take nothing less than 70 million for the player, and it looks like Liverpool want the player. After the introduction of Morgan Rogers, right, Kwenda Munyinaba, you look at players like Estevao Jr., who are still there. Chelsea may have overloads in the wide areas. Cole Palmer is still there. Pedro Neto may be surplus to requirements. He may not want to leave Chelsea at this point, because I also don't know the plan and the thoughts of Xabi Alonso for the player. But he's yet to join preseason. Okobo World Cup for Portugal, so he's on holidays. But Sonko Bisamia, I don't think this is the right time for Pedro Neto to leave Chelsea. He can give us one more season, but would he be comfortable to come from the bench? That's the question. Could he one starting games to say the open? And that's the biggest thing for Pedro Neto. And if he wants playing time and Liverpool can give him that playing time, I can agree, say it's fair enough for him to move. But would Chelsea sell him for anything less than 50 million? I don't think so. In fact, Chelsea is stating that they don't want to sell him for anything less than 70 million. And I agree with the direction of the market and with how certain deals are being completed. It looks like even if you want to buy Pedro Neto from Air Chelsea now, you have to spend something around 75 million pounds. And the Liverpool should brace themselves, because if they want to really purchase and get the signature of Air Pedro Neto there, Chelsea is saying that you should come with nothing less than 70 million pounds to come for Air the player. And it could be some good business, because I think Pedro Neto was bought for something around 50 million pounds from Air Wolves to Chelsea. And at the time, that was a very good deal for me. So if Chelsea want to sell the player for 70 million and that around that region, I think it's an excellent deal. Except that I don't think I was a Pedro Neto free OCCR, because I think he still offers Chelsea something remarkable this season. There are times where he can influence games coming from the bench to be able to score certain goals. So that is my opinion on Air Pedro Neto, and I hope and believe that he manages to stay. Otherwise, if he leaves, he will have to leave for a very hefty price tag. And I think that's the direction that Chelsea want to go now. This has been Onside with me, Joshua Hollow. So guys, drop your comments, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, comment, like and share Ma Afufronsu and Xabi, so that you can also benefit and others can also benefit from this analysis concerning Chelsea in the transfer market. I'll come your way again with more news concerning Chelsea and other stories. But until I come your way again, I'll see you in the next one.